Hey guys, well, there's probably not going to be a video this week. Unfortunately, life is just getting in the way, and I'm working a bunch of extra shifts and extra hours pretending to be a police officer. And so I haven't had any time to go out to the hangar at all this week. So this is just me rambling at the camera for a little bit while I head to my extra duty tonight, which is I get to work a concert. Fun. I've had a number of people ask me, why would you be a police officer? You know, and I think a lot of them bring up modern day problems that you see with law enforcement, the media opinions, and just the general bad rap or just kind of bad taste people have in their mouth, if you will, around law enforcement. And not everybody, by the way. In fact, by and large, most people are very supportive. But the answer is complicated, honestly. I am a police officer. A lot of people before me served their country in ways to afford me the lifestyle that I live. And I don't mean that in, monetary means, but I mean the freedoms and the ability to live how I want to live, do what I want to do. And I feel kind of like a shitheel if I don't give back in the same way. And so, it seems like roughly every 10 years, I have to do something. I served in the military. I was in the Army from 1992 to 1997. I then did my first bit of law enforcement. So interesting timing. That was right after the first Gulf War. So swelling with, pride and wanting to serve my country, I actually enlisted right before the end of the first Gulf War. I didn't know it was ending. So for whatever reason, thank God, I've never had to be in combat or do any of that other stuff, but I signed up. And then right after 9/11, I became a police officer down in Texas. I was a police officer down there until, basically 2000, right after 2001, right after 9/11, 2002 is when I actually got employed. I was in the academy up until then. And then I got out of police law enforcement in Texas in 2007, I think, is when I stopped, or at least when all my stuff expired and I was no longer hireable. And then set the way forward machine 10 years later, 2017. I'll be damned if I didn't do it again. So, yeah, it's one of those things that I don't know, for whatever reason, it's in my blood. It's in my family's blood too, interestingly. Not my father, but I've got cousins and other family that are in law enforcement, and it's just one of those things that I've always really enjoyed. Aspects of it. There's parts of it I don't enjoy, and that's the stuff that a lot of people bring up. I mean, you don't deal with the good, honest, hardworking people who just want to live their lives and be left alone. Those aren't the folks you deal with. I wish it were, but it's not. But anyways, I can ramble on about it forever. If you guys ever have any questions about law enforcement, feel free to ask. I can always give my opinion. I will give my personal opinion. It will not be affiliated with any department or anything like that. So the other thing is the other question is, why would I do that instead of becoming an airline pilot? And the answer to that is, because that's the other thing that I would like to do. The answer to that, though, is I have a color deficiency in my vision. That's not to say that I am color blind. Most people have this notion when you say you're colorblind that you see in black and white. And no. I have a color deficiency in that ever so slightly, I have a hard time seeing the Ishihara tests, so those, the bowl of vomit tests is what I like to call them. Sometimes I can't see them. And it has to do with lighting. It has to do with a lot of stuff. And I've done all sorts of different tests. One of them is called the Farnsworth 100 hues test. I've done that. and I passed it with flying colors. And so I've talked to different doctors, and they say, you know, we're not sure if it's your eyes or your brain. I'm brain damaged, I knew that. But they're saying, you know, it may be that for whatever reason you're incapable of putting together the correct information, but your eyes are working fine. They're not sure. Needless to say, that would be very difficult for me to get a first-class medical. So, you know, I don't really want to put all that money into becoming, you know, getting ATP and then find out, oh yeah, you'll never be hired. And I heard, and the reason I say that, I know you get your first class medical and your waivers and all that before you go there, but one guy told me that he did that, and the airline he went to, when they found out he had a waiver, didn't want to hire him, even though he had a waiver, because of the color thing. And that would just be depressing as hell, and I don't want to deal with that. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to fly commercial, but it's a lot of money to maybe not be able to do it. This always will pay, and I'm still doing software in the background. You know, I'm still doing other stuff that also pays. So right now I don't need the money is what I'm getting at. So anyway, speaking of money, I found that this is for sale. If I could borrow $4.1 million from anybody, that'd be great. I couldn't fly it, but at least I could have it at the hangar and just walk out there and drool on it every once in a while, wipe it down with a diaper and just love on it. What a beautiful airplane. It's got a bunch of pictures on it. I'll put a link down below, but it's for sale on the controller website, and oh my God, that's the dream for me right there. There it is. My wife was like, that's not practical at all. No, it's not, but it's awesome. Practical? Screw practical. That's what the RV-10's for. So, yeah. So, anyways, guys, I'm sorry there's not going to be a video this week. It's one of those things I hate that I'm not putting one out. I want to put one out every week. Also, some of you have said, and I've heard you, that you would like to see more close-ups, less speeding through things with me talking over it. I'm absolutely wanting to do that. The only reason, like the last video was basically me just rambling while you saw me speed through it in the background. That was 3 days and 10 hours of videos. Yes, semicolons. 10 hours of video there that you guys have seen me do that before. So it's a lot of wash, rinse, repeat of doing the exact same thing on the other flap that I'd already done on the first flap. And so if I'm ever going to get this plane built, reshooting all that exact same video, there's a freaking fly in here, reshooting that exact same video again, it just puts a lot of extra time, and that 10 hours would have stretched out to 20 hours, right? So those of you that I know some of you really didn't like that, I get it, I do hear you, I want to show you more close-up stuff, but I gotta power through the second part for these videos and just, you know, get on with building the plane. And I'm sorry, thank you for those of you that understand, and I'm sorry for those of you who don't. So anyways, guys, that's it. I'm gonna go listen to some, I think, country. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't even know his name. At a concert, and get paid to stand around and look pretty. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.